Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're diving into the fascinating world of one of Hollywood's most beloved icons, Audrey Hepburn. But we're not just talking about her legendary films or that iconic little black dress. We're talking money, honey. How much was Audrey really worth? What kind of lifestyle did she lead? And here's the kicker, her estate is still making millions today, more than 30 years after her death. Let's get into it, so let's start with the big question. What was Audrey Hepburn's net worth? When she passed away in 1993, Audrey Hepburn's estate was valued at approximately $55 million. Now, before you think that's nice but not crazy by Hollywood standards, remember that adjusting for inflation, that's equivalent to about $100 million in today's money. But here's where it gets really interesting. Current estimates place the Audrey Hepburn estate's value in excess of $100 million, with annual revenues reaching $8 to $10 million through image licensing, collectible sales, and brand collaborations. That's right, she's one of the highest-earning deceased celebrities year after year. Her image graces campaigns for luxury brands like Givenchy and Longines, and her films continue generating royalties through streaming platforms. Think about that for a second. More than 3 decades after her death, Audrey Hepburn is still out here making bank. Now that's what I call a lasting legacy. Let's rewind and talk about how she built this fortune in the first place. Audrey earned approximately $150,000 for her salary in breakfast at Tiffany's. That's in $1,961, mind you. For perspective, that would be well over $1 million today for just one film. And that was far from her only payday. Her career took off like a rocket after she landed her first starring film role in the 1953 romantic comedy Roman Holiday opposite Gregory Peck, playing a European princess who spends an adventurous night out on the town with an American newsman. She won Oscar, BAFTA, and Golden Globe Awards for her performance, becoming the first female actor to accomplish that feat for a single role. Talk about making an entrance. After that breakthrough, the roles and the paychecks kept coming. She starred in classics like Sabrina, Funny Face, My Fair Lady, Charade, and of course, Breakfast at Tiffany's. Throughout her career, she received endorsement deals with globally renowned brands, which supplemented her already impressive acting income. Now, here's a juicy bit that not everyone knows. When Audrey died, she left her fortune to her two sons, Sean Hepburn Farrer and Luca Dotti. According to her handwritten will, the two sons would inherit 50-50 of her estate. Sounds simple, right? Wrong. Hepburn failed to specify who would get what, and the brothers later asked a judge to help them divide the items. The estate included not just money, but a Los Angeles storage locker full of mementos and memorabilia, things like movie posters, costumes, awards, jewelry, and scripts. The dispute got so intense that it took years to resolve. Hepburn's little black dress she wore in the opening scene of Breakfast at Tiffany's was auctioned at Christie's in 2006 for an astonishing $920,909. When items are worth that kind of money, you can understand why dividing them up got complicated. The brothers eventually made peace and even co-founded the Audrey Hepburn Children's Fund to continue their mother's humanitarian work. But man, it was a rocky road getting there. Alright, let's talk about how Audrey actually lived. And the centerpiece of her life was her stunning Swiss estate called La Paisible, which literally means the peaceful place in French. And from everything I've read, it truly was just that. Hepburn owned this 18th century villa in Tolochenaz, Switzerland, from 1963 until her passing in 1993. We're talking 30 years in the same home. That's some serious commitment to a place. And what a place it was. The property spans almost 11,000 square feet and features 12 bedrooms, 8 bathrooms, and a 2-bedroom service apartment. It sits on 40 acres of land, just a short distance from the stunning landscape of Lake Geneva. Highlights include terracotta and oak parquet flooring, 5 fireplaces to stately staircases, a library, and an elevator. There's also a 50-foot heated swimming pool and parking for up to 15 cars. But here's my favorite detail. When Audrey turned 60, designer Hubert de Givenchy sent her 60 white rose bushes as a birthday gift. And she had a rose garden planted, and many of those rose bushes are still there today. The home was recently listed for sale at $21 million, giving the rest of us a peek into where one of Hollywood's greatest legends chose to spend her final decades. It wasn't a flashy Beverly Hills mansion, it was a peaceful, private retreat where she could raise her sons away from the Hollywood spotlight. Now, what about her wheels? This is where things get a little murky because Audrey was notoriously private about her personal life. She was photographed on a few occasions with European luxury cars from prominent brands such as Rolls-Royce and Ferrari, but she was mostly seen driving a white 1956 Ford Thunderbird and Mercedes-Benz SLW 113. The Ford Thunderbird is particularly interesting because it was such an American icon, a beautiful two-seater convertible that screamed 1950s glamour. And the Mercedes? Well, that was pure elegance. Much like Audrey herself, there are rumors that she owned a black and red Mercedes-Benz, and many believe it was her car of choice. She apparently stopped driving after a minor incident spooked her, which honestly makes sense when you're one of the most recognizable faces on the planet. Driving yourself around probably gets complicated pretty quickly. Here's the thing that really sets Audrey apart from so many other Hollywood stars. She didn't just accumulate wealth, she used her fame and fortune to make a real difference. Toward the end of her life, Hepburn committed much of her time to UNICEF as a goodwill ambassador. This wasn't just some celebrity charity appearance nonsense. She endured a childhood marked by upheaval, with her father abandoning the family when she was 6, and during World War II, she lived under Nazi occupation in the Netherlands. These years of malnutrition, fear, and survival deeply shaped her later life and humanitarian pursuits. She understood what it meant to be hungry, to be scared, to need help. And when she became successful and wealthy, she didn't forget. She traveled to some of the most impoverished and dangerous places on Earth to raise awareness for children in need. UNICEF eventually established the Audrey Hepburn Society, which has raised close to $100 million. That's her legacy, continuing to help children decades after her death. We can't talk about Audrey without mentioning her style, which was as much a part of her fortune as her acting. She was often regarded as the most naturally beautiful woman of all time and ranked third on the American Film Institute list of greatest female screen legends in American cinema history. Her relationship with designer Hubert de Givenchy wasn't just professional, it was legendary. He designed some of her most iconic looks, and their friendship lasted for decades. The little black dress from Breakfast at Tiffany's? Givenchy, the stunning gowns in Sabrina? Givenchy, that man understood her elegance like no one else. Her style was never about excess. It was about simplicity, elegance, and that effortless grace that made her stand out in a sea of Hollywood glamour. Even today, fashion designers reference her look. That timeless quality? That's worth more than any dollar amount. So there you have it. Audrey Hepburn wasn't just a movie star. She was a savvy actress who built a $100 million fortune, an estate that continues generating millions annually, and a humanitarian legacy that's still helping children around the world. She lived in a peaceful Swiss villa for 30 years, drove classic cars with understated elegance, and used her fame for good. Her estate might have caused some family drama because, let's be honest, money always does, but ultimately, her legacy is about so much more than the numbers. The American Film Institute ranked her third on its list of the greatest female stars of all time. But beyond the rankings and the net worth figures, Audrey Hepburn remains proof that you can be fabulously successful, incredibly wealthy, and still maintain grace, dignity, and a commitment to making the world better. If you enjoyed learning about Audrey's incredible life and fortune, smash that like button and subscribe for more celebrity wealth breakdowns. Who should we cover next? Drop your suggestions in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.